All right, so what are we working on today? Quadratic inequalities. Good. How did you know that? Oh, you read the board. Excellent. Okay. And you wrote it down too, right? Okay. Quadratic implies what? Parabolas. Exactly. Inequalities implies what? We're going to be having to focus on two things. When we're graphing them, we have to focus on two things. What are they? Solid or dotted? And shading. Okay? So let's start here. Y is greater than x minus 2 squared plus 4. How many variables are there? Two, right? So I have to graph it on a graph that has two axes, an x and a y. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. Okay? Now, depending on how this is presented to you will depend on what you do. What form is this one in? That's in vertex form, right? If it's in vertex form, we can easily see the vertex, can't we? For this problem, what is the vertex?
X minus 2.
How far to the x direction does it go? 2. And is it left or right? It's to the right. Remember, if it's inside, it's backwards of what we think. So it says minus 2, so we know we have to go right. And then the k tells me up or down. Up, how many? 4. So my vertex is at 2, 4. Now, how many points on a graph officially? How many points does it take to make a line? 2, right? 2. Now, usually when we do it, we draw all of them that we can, because how much easier is it to see the line when we put all that we can? A lot easier, right? How many points is necessary, required to make a parabola? It's 3. Okay? It's 3. Now, if we have a choice, how many are we going to make? All that we can, right? Okay, if we have a choice, we're going to make all that we can, because then that makes the parabola much easier to see, just like a line does, right? Okay, so I need you to remember back to when we actually graphed parabolas a couple weeks ago, okay? And I want you to think about the fact that what's the a value in this problem? It's not there, so it's a 1, right? So there's not a multiplier for this parabola. That means it's parent function shaped. Okay? If it's parent function shaped from the vertex, I can go right 1, up 1, because 1 squared is 1. From the vertex, I can go right 2 and up 4, because 2 squared is 4. From the vertex, I can go right 3 and up. How far can I go up? Close. 9, right? Why can I go up 9? Because 3 squared is 9. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, can you see the parabola? I can see part of it, right? But I also know something else about parabolas. Parabolas are symmetric, yeah. Parabolas are symmetric. So if I went over 1 up 1, can't I go over 1 this way and up 1?
Yes.
And over 2 and up 4? And over 3 and up 9? Now how easy is it to see the parabola? Very easy, right? Okay. Now it's time to draw the parabola, but I have to, before I draw the parabola, I have to look at the sign. What is the sign going to tell me? If it is solid or dotted. Yeah. Is this one solid or dotted? How do you know? It's just greater than. Or in this case, it could also be just less than, right? Or not this case, but another case. That would be a dotted line. What would make it a solid line? Greater than or equal, less than or equal, right? So this is a dotted line, so I'm going to come over here and make a dotted line. Some people say dashed line. It's okay. Either one is fine. And then I have one more thing I can do before I am finished. And what is that? I have to shade. Okay? Now, when we did linear inequalities, I had to decide whether to shade above or below, right? When I do quadratic inequalities, where am I deciding? What two words am I using this time? Before it was above and below. Do I have above and below this time? No. What do I have? Inside and outside. Very good. Okay? So, yeah, you did. Good job. So, what I'm going to do is the same thing I did last time with linear inequalities. I'm going to choose a point. Which point should I choose? Oh, the origin. Why would I choose the origin? It is the easiest, right? Because my x value is 0 and my y value is 0. When is the only time I cannot choose the origin? If it goes through the origin. Very good. Okay? So I'm going to choose the origin and I'm going to go back to my equation. I'm going to substitute a 0 for y and a 0 for x. And I'm going to see if that point makes this statement a true statement or a not true statement. Okay? What is 0 minus 2? What is negative 2 squared? So I have 0 is greater than 4 plus 4, which is 8. 0 is greater than 8. That is not true, right? So what does that mean? Where do I shade? Where am I supposed to shade? Where it's true, right? I'm supposed to shade where it's true. This is not true. So what part of this quadratic is not true? The outside is not true. Do you see that this point is outside of the parabola? Okay, so if outside is not true, where should I shade? Inside, where it is true. Done. Once again, just like our conversation last time when we got here, please don't get too OCD on me. We're just shading a little bit. We don't have to shade every single pixel. Okay? Everybody okay? Any questions on that? Y equals, no, y is less than or equal to 2x squared plus 6x plus 7. Y is less than or equal to 2x squared plus 6x plus 7. So what form is this in? This is in standard, okay? I can't use the same rules as I use in vertex. I have to use something different, right? How many points am I required to have in order to get credit for these? At least 3, right? You have to have at least 3. So I can't find the vertex and just like zoom, because I'm not doing that. We're being a little bit more specific this time, aren't we? Now, what do we know about the vertex in standard form? The x-coordinate is negative b over 2a. Okay? So I need to come back here to my graph, or to my inequality, and label at least a and b. That's really what I care about right now, right? Negative b over 2a is what I need. Negative b over 2a. Well, negative b would be negative 6 over 2 times a, which is 2. What is 2 times 2? So I have negative 6 over 4. Does that simplify? It does, right? They're both divisible by 2. So most of the time, what would I prefer you write right here? Negative 3 halves, right? Guys, we're graphing. Is negative 3 halves going to help me when I'm graphing? No, what's going to help me more? A decimal. Negative 1.5. Except what I found, I'm trying to find the vertex, right? And what I found is the x-coordinate of the vertex. I still don't know the y-coordinate of the vertex. How do I go about finding the y-coordinate of the vertex? I do. I plug it in, okay? Do you want to be squaring Decimals? No? So can we let our friendly neighborhood calculator help us out a little bit? Okay, so I need, let's see, I need a calculator. So let's do 2 times negative 1.5 squared plus 6 times negative 1.5 plus 7. What's the y coordinate? 2.5. So negative 1.5, positive 2.5. Now, I have a couple options here. Okay? I could remember that I have this foldable and use this foldable to my benefit, and remember that the y-intercept is c, and I could look at my equation and see c and know it crosses the y-axis at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that parabolas are also symmetric. So if I went over 1.5 and went up 7, I could go over 1.5 and up 7, right? Does that make sense? And how many points am I required to have in order to graph my parabola? 3. Ta-da! But that's only one option that I need you to be aware of. Okay? If you forget that, another option is to go and let our friendly neighborhood calculator help us out. Go to a calculator page, a graph page, put in 2x squared plus 6x plus 7, and go to the table. Control T takes me to the table. And I have all these points that are given to, oh, geez Louise. I have all these points that are here on my table that I can scroll up and down and find points that actually lie on my graph. Plot those points. How many do I have to have? 3 at least, right? 3 at least. Do I have 3? Yes, so can I go ahead and graph from here? But before I graph, what do I look at? The sign. What kind of line am I drawing here? A solid line. And what is left for me to decide? Where to shade. How do I decide where to shade again? Choose a point. Yeah, choose a point. You can choose any point that you want. Why do I choose 0, 0? It's the easiest. Okay? So I plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y. Oh, geez Louise. What's 0 squared? Times 2? What's 6 times 0? 0. So I have 0 plus 0 plus 7. So 0 is less than or equal to 7. Is that true or not true? That is true. So where should I be shading? Outside, because I need to be shading